What's going on, agents? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and it's time to take a look at this Tactitioner build that I have been recalibrating and optimizing ever since Global Event Ambush ended a few weeks ago. Tactician's Authority was first introduced back in Update 1.1 and has gone through multiple reworks since then, and with that in mind, and with a bit of testing with its latest incarnation, it's time to show you how to assemble this devastating skill power centric gear set. The Tactitioner is a gear set built around the newly introduced classified Tactician's Authority gear pieces with a bit of variation thrown in for more potential damage. Now, for the solo player that is looking to tackle everything up to and including legendary difficulty missions, this is the gear set for you, as the Tactitioner brings massive amounts of damage potential to the battlefield. What makes the Tactitioner so potent is the mix of high levels of skill power, electronics, and skill haste that will seemingly allow you to spam your skills with little to no delay. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the build. And just so you know up front, the Tactitioner is built around 5 pieces of classified Tactician's Authority gear along with an inventive backpack. For the body armor, you need to go with the classified Tactician's Authority vest with a maximum armor roll of 2003 and of course with a main stat roll of electronics. I have chosen to go with a 6% enemy armor damage roll, 9% skill haste, and 56% ammo capacity, which are all maximum percentages. In addition, I have elected to equip 2 electronics prototype mods, one with 3% skill haste, the other with additional skill power. The classified Tactician's Authority mask is necessary for this build, and fully optimized, my mask has an armor roll of 1001 and a main stat roll of electronics. Skill power is necessary as the major attribute, along with 12% damage to elites as the minor attribute. Just like on the body armor, I have chosen to equip an electronics prototype mod with 3% skill haste. Classified Tactician's knee pads are used in this build with an armor roll of 1668 and an electronics main stat roll. A maximum skill power major attribute roll of 13,339 along with bleed and burn resistances in the minor attributes section, along with a maximum damage to elites roll of 16%. For mods, I have equipped an electronics mod with additional skill power and a 4% Seeker Mine damage prototype performance mod. As I mentioned before, I am using a fully optimized, inventive tactical pack for the additional 15% skill power when at full health, and fully optimized, this high-end gear piece comes in at a 1334 armor roll and a 1272 main stat electronics roll. A maximum skill power roll of 13,339 is used with this build, and I would have preferred more ammo as the minor attribute, but it is not necessary. Another prototype electronics mod with additional skill power and 2 4% Seeker Mine prototype performance mods round off the backpack. The fourth piece of Tactician's gear are the classified gloves at a maximum armor roll of 1001 and a main stat electronics roll of 1401. The 3 major attributes used in this build are a 12% assault rifle damage roll, 8% enemy armor damage roll, and 9% skill haste roll, all maximum percentages. The fifth and final piece of classified Tactician's Authority gear used for this Tactitioner build is the holster at a maximum armor roll of 1001 along with 1401 main stat rolls across the board. 7% skill haste is the best option for your major attribute, along with another 4% Seeker Mine prototype performance mod. I chose to equip the Liberator for this build, but ideally a lightweight M4 would provide a little bit better handling characteristics for recoil and stability. The 3 weapon talents you want to aim for are Talented, Competent, and Determined in the 3rd free slot. The firearms requirement to unlock Determined is too high for this build, but will instantly unlock if equipped in the 3rd slot, and Talented is ideal for a skill power build as it grants you 15% additional skill power for 20 seconds after killing a target with this weapon. Since you will have very little invested into firearms, your overall killing potential with your primary weapon will be small, and Competent will help bolster that just a little bit by awarding you 10% more weapon damage for 15 seconds after using a skill. Although I don't use it much, I have equipped the Big Alejandro as my secondary weapon, as it can absolutely shred NPCs once you have attached a cover and are proccing the cover shooter weapon talent. Once fully constructed, your build will be somewhere around 3,000 firearms, 3,000 stamina, and over 10,000 electronics, putting you somewhere in the 450k plus skill power range. Since you selected damage to elites for your mask and knee pads, you should be at 28%, and once fully optimized between gear and assault rifle, an enemy armor damage percentage of 38%. However, the two areas you are really striving for are a skill power level over 450k without any weapon talents activated, and a skill haste percentage of 50%. Now, since I will be running this build mostly solo, I have chosen Recovery Link if I get a bit overwhelmed, along with Seeker Mines and the Sticky Bomb BFB. Talents include Shrapnel, Tech Support for when I switch the BFB over to Turret, Demolition Expert, and Chain Reaction. Now that you've seen the build, let me answer the question that I know some of you may be asking. Why not use Barrett's Bulletproof Vest? And that's a totally valid question. But the answer to that is in the mechanics for how Barrett's works, and it only awards you the extra 10% skill power when no skills are on cooldown. Now, since we are constantly using our skills, even with short cooldown timers, we would constantly be losing that extra 10% skill power, and at these skill power levels, that loss could amount to over 45,000 less skill power once a skill is on cooldown. With the Tactician's Authority 5-piece, we have a constant skill power level even if our skills are on cooldown, and with the added main stat rolls of 1,401 versus a fully optimized Barrett's Vest at 1,272, we are able to maintain a higher skill power level than with the Barrett's Vest. In addition, I have chosen not to equip the 6th piece of Tactician's Authority for the extra stacks, as it tends to be a bit too gimmicky for my taste, and it forces me to alternate skills according to its mechanics, whereas I prefer to have a bit more freedom. However, you will see from the footage that once I am fully charged up with talented and at max stacks, my skill power levels will easily reach into the low 600k range, which once applied to my skills can be absolutely devastating. If I were to invest more into mods with additional skill power instead of haste, these numbers would be even higher, but I prefer to have rapid skill cooldowns versus a small amount of a damage increase. As always, I would love to read your thoughts about my latest build guide in the comments section below, and make sure to stay tuned for video footage of me using the Tactitioner on both challenge and legendary difficulty missions running solo. Don't forget to rate the video with a huge thumbs up, as it is always greatly appreciated. If you want some more of my Division videos in your life, make sure to pound that sub button, configure and save to receive all notifications for my latest YouTube activity, and of course, follow me on Twitter at LtBuzzLitebeer. This has been LtBuzzLitebeer, reminding you that likes, comments, subs are loved. Until my next Division video, peace out.
There's no one who can replace Lorraine Barrett. She's the one who organized the escape to Manhattan.
They're holding 3 of my people there. If you can get them out before blowing the lid off, I'd be grateful.
All right. Get them out first, but don't jeopardize the mission. We're going in on your heels. The jailbreak ends here.
Got others inside.
Incoming hostiles detected.
Pleasure to kill you.
Warning. Additional hostiles inbound. Hostiles detected.